What's up everyone, welcome to Kai's channel. Today we'll be reviewing this, the Post Plus GaoGaiGar. Now some of you might already realize that back in the pre-order, I did actually a slight video on it and talk a little bit on the price being extremely expensive. However, here we have right here, we get to see if this piece is actually worth the price. Alright, without wasting any more time, let's get started. So coming right out of the box is what you see right in front of you. Now you can see the screen cover right here. This is actually for you to use as a background. Like this. So you can display it with a very nice background that they've given. Very thoughtful of Post Plus right here. Now once you remove the cover, you can see what's contained in this package. You can see the GaoGaiGar right there, right in the dead center, and then you've got the Gao machines surrounding it. And if you remove this piece right here, you can see that there's the dividing driver and some of the other piece along with it. Alright, let's take them out and check it out. So here it is, the Galleon and also the Gao machine. Now I purposely changed the GaoGaiGar back into the Galleon because it actually fits the rest of the piece when it's not combined. And we'll definitely get into the transformation later. And I'm gonna say that just from the glance at this right now, I'm super impressed with it, and it's actually looking really amazing. And you can see right off the bat that all the Gao machine as well as the Galleon, it's nothing that we've seen before, either from the Bandai series or any other products that we've seen so far for the GaoGaiGar. So definitely looking very impressive right now. I'm super liking it so far. Alright, let's take a look of each of them in details. The first is the Stealth Gao. Now just the look of it at a glance, you might think that it actually looks the same or very similar to the Bandai's Stealth Gao. However, if you look from the top, you would see that that's totally not the case. There's so much details in this that I'm super impressed. If you look closely in the front, you can see that there's these little green lights that there is in there, and also there's silver panels on the back that's actually you can move them. And the 3G logo that you see on the wing is actually not painted on there. It's actually a 3D texture on that. That's really nice, given that detailed look on it. So definitely really cool on that. Now another thing I like really much is that the thruster on the back, there is this transparent green piece that actually covers it. It's actually giving a really nice touch to it. I'm definitely liking how they designed this. Alright, let's move on. So next we have is the Liner Gao. Now the Liner Gao is actually a lot shorter and a little bit wider than what I had imagined. Now although the entire look is actually really nice, the paint looks nice, and everything about it is just absolutely beautiful. But what I like the most is the transparent blue plastic that's on the side. That's totally gives it a really nice new look to it. And I'm gonna say that I'm loving every single redesign and also the details that Post Plus has diligently put into this entire piece so far. Definitely really great. So I can't wait until we combine everything together to form the GaoGaiGar. It will most likely look really cool. Alright, let's move on to the next one. So next we have is the Drill Gao. Now the Drill Gao is also a little bit redesigned on this, and it actually feels very heavy because on the back of the Drill Gao, which is the GaoGaiGar's feet, the entire piece is metal. This piece is actually very heavy just on its own. Now the Drill Gao, the two drills in front, it actually can move, but the wheels on the bottom, those cannot be moved, which is actually quite disappointing. I was expecting that it actually does move so that we can actually roll around the floor with it. However, that's not the case. But aside from that, the look, again, it's really great. And last we have is the Galleon. Now the Galleon is actually looking really great. Although I must say that the head actually doesn't have that great impact to it because the head's actually kind of small for this piece right here. Although I totally understand that they're trying to have it so that transformation is actually proportional to the robot's head. However, in the line mode, the head's actually a little bit lacking that I somewhat don't like, but that's just my opinion. Aside from that, the coloring, it's majority of them is white, but I noticed that there's actually two tones of white. One is the pure white on most of the body, and then there's this other white that's actually looking like a little bit yellowish. You can see that from the claws, in the front claws, and also on the rear legs where the ankle guards are, and also on the main body as well, right near the torso area. So I'm not sure if that's actually intentionally did it with the two tones, or just so happened that the material they use turns out to be a little more yellowish than it originally has planned it. So that's definitely something that's a little bit an eyesore for me, because I'm actually really picky on the white. But if you're okay with that, then definitely there's no issues with that. Now, just like the Stealth Gao, I really love the transparent green piece right near on the side guards on the waist. That's definitely really done beautifully, so that's a kudos on that. Alright, let's transform the galleon into the Gaia, and then we'll check out the movement. So first of all, let's start from the bottom. I'm gonna go with the feet. Move them straight. As you can probably hear, the joints are ratchet-like joints, so pretty solid right there. For the tail, turn it 180. And then you can see that it actually stores inside this area, like that. And then for right here, open this up and then flip this part inwards. Now put this diagonally because you have to push this inward into here. Now if you do it horizontally, then obviously it's gonna hit this part right here, and that might scratch the paint, so just be careful on that. Same with the other side. And then slide it in and back down. Okay. And then next, we turn the entire waist forward and then move the arms down. The claw to the back. Adjust the fists. Same for here. As for the head, first pull these two antenna-like items up and then rotate them downwards. And then store them here, like that. And then for this piece right here, pull it all the way down to this place. And then Galleon's head, rotate it all the way down. And then lock in place like this. And then finally, open this gap right here. Now if you can't get it with your nails, then this set actually comes with this little key right here that looks like the victory key. And this little tool helps you to get to the points that it's hard to get. So like this. Open it up. Flip Gaiga's head all the way to the front and close it. And then lastly, flip the little head right here, this tip all the way up, And then we have it, the GaoGaiGar. So here it is, the GaoGaiGar. Now the GaoGaiGar looks absolutely beautiful, just like when it is in the galleon form. However, I must say that proportion wise, I think the head is a little bit small, but that's totally understandable because we need to combine that into GaoGaiGar, where they need to put a helmet on top of it. So that's totally understandable. But aside from that, it's absolutely incredible. You can definitely see all the metal components all around it, like from the shoulders, the elbow, and especially on the knees itself. Those are big chunk of metal right there. So definitely, there's no doubt about it, tons of metal components in here, and it feels pretty heavy and solid, so don't worry about it. And transformation from the galleon to the GaoGaiGar wasn't as hard as I thought it would be. Given the complex look that the Pose Plus has designed, it's actually fairly simple and straightforward. Now another thing I really like about it is that inside the galleon's mouth, there's actually these panels here that actually closes up instead of a really hollowed area that other GaoGaiGar set has been doing. So I personally actually like this better. Alright, enough of that, let's go ahead and check out its movement. So starting off, we have is the head. Now the head, you can actually turn. All the way 360. Although it's actually really tight when turning, as you can see, which is not a bad thing. And then you can actually tilt up, not too much, and also downwards. Moving a little bit downwards, you have the galleon. The galleon's mouth, you can actually close it all the way like this. And then open it up to see those gates-like panels inside the mouth. So that's very good right there. Moving on, we have is the arm. Now the arms, you can also turn 360 like this. And then for this shoulder part, you can actually move it all the way to the side like this, although I'm not sure what's the reason for moving it all the way here. Most likely it's because of this, which you can move the arm horizontally, but then you can see that right here, it's actually hitting on the side. Oh, sorry, apologies. If you actually adjust it a little bit, then it actually goes horizontally. So I guess that's the reason why that is. And then not to mention this flap right here can open. And then as for the elbow, it's a 2-point joint, one right here, one right there, and then it moves all the way up to how you see it right now. And then on the wrist, this part you can actually move, but I think this part right here is actually for when it is in galleon's mode, so not really for the GaoGaiGar itself. And then the hands is a ball joint, 360, and then you can actually tilt it up like this, which not a lot of robots that I've been playing around with can actually do that for the hands. So this is actually really good. Moving along, we have is the thigh. Now the legs, most of it is actually ratchet like joints, which you can tell when we're doing the transformation. The leg, technically it can go all the way up to horizontal, but these things right here, it's blocking the way, so this is as far as you can go in terms of going to the back of the GaoGaiGar. And then for the front, it goes all the way horizontal. Not to mention that this can move horizontal too. Again, the joint itself can go a bit higher, but this part is blocking it. And then right here, as you can see, there's a gap between the joint right here and also the thigh. This is for turning a bit on to the side. Right here. Like this. And you can actually turn it all the way to the side like this. So this is pretty neat, and it's actually very tight, so it might take a little more force when turning it. just like you see how I'm doing it. Now as for the knees, technically you can go forward because the GaoGaiGar, when you combine, that's the moving it to the back. And then for this side, it goes all the way here as well. On the lower leg, it goes all the way to here. And then to the front. And then as for the feet, you can see there's the metallic ball joint right here, which you can rotate. And then the tip of the feet, where the toes are, you can move this part like that. And that's it. Now the GaoGaiGar actually has a weapon that comes with this set, which is most likely Post Plus original design for it, because as far as I know, GaoGaiGar doesn't have any other weapon other than the claw itself. And here we have it's the wheel knife, which is similar to the one that Shishio Gai would use when during its humanoid form. So this is most likely a redesign, and it's actually looking really incredible. You got the handle, it's actually in gold, and then you got this red jewels in the center of the handle, and then the remaining blade part is a transparent blade with some design into it. So definitely looking really cool. Now as some of you know, even before combining into the GaoGaiGar, the GaoGaiGar can actually combine with the Gao machine separately as well. So let us do that for this one. But first, there must be some preparation that must be done onto the GaoGaiGar before we can do that. So first, for the GaoGaiGar, we must put these parts onto the arm as well. Like this, and we'll do the same for the other arm as well. Now that the GaoGaiGar is ready, we move on to the drill Gao and prepare on that one. So first, split the two, close the connecting joints, and then press this button right here. This button right here, you can see. Press on it and pull out the feet part, which is where the metal components are, the heaviest part of the entire leg, and remains this part, which is a brilliant idea to decrease the weight for you to combine onto the GaoGaiGar. And all you have to do is just push it in. Okay, after playing for a while, I finally understand why it cannot push in, even if I follow the instruction manual. Now the fist, originally right here, if you push it in, it actually hits the gray area that's inside right here. This part right here. And that's why no matter how you push in, it doesn't go in. So what I realized you have to do is, you have to slightly push the fist downward so that you can have that little gap right here, originally for the galleon transformation. And then if you do that, it actually slides in pretty easily. So in case you cannot push it in and somehow it's blocking it, try this method. It's actually a lot easier. So same for here. We open this little gap, and I would suggest you to turn the fist either on the sides or like this, just so that it minimizes the impact onto the point that I told you about. And there we go, much easier. So here it is, the GaoGaiGar combined with the drill gao. Now we did have a little hiccup when trying to put the drill gao onto the arms, but we figured it out and it's actually a lot simpler if you follow my method. So again, if you have trouble, try my method and see if it works. Now another thing I noticed that even if you take out the most heaviest part, the feet of the drill gao, the drill gao itself is still actually fairly heavy. So if you combine it to the GaoGaiGar, be sure to either have it straight down, or if you're gonna bend the elbow, make sure that you have some kind of supporting arms or items to support the drill gao. Otherwise, all the weight constraint would fall onto the elbow joint itself, and sooner or later, it's gonna become loose, just like the metal built ones is. So I personally don't recommend displaying it like this. Alright. We still have one more gao machine that we're going to put on for the GaoGaiGar, and that is the stealth gao. Now for the stealth gao, we need to put this piece onto it before we can combine it to the GaoGaiGar. And this one's actually fairly simple. You got this pin right here, and basically just put it onto the hole that's in the center of the back of the stealth gao. Just like that. And then we can put it onto the GaoGaiGar. So you see these two pins right here, they basically goes into here, and then that's it. So here it is, combined with the stealth gao as well, and actually it looks pretty cool right here. And there's something that I'm really amazed about, is that usually for the robots that I review, when you put something this massive onto the back, there's a high tendency that the robot would fall on its back very easily, and it would take forever for me to even pose it standing straight up, not to mention to pose in a very cool looking posing. However here, I'm not sure if it's because of the design of the GaoGaiGar where the knees is actually a big chunk of metal, it actually stands very easily, and I didn't have any trouble at all to pose it like this. So very amazed on the weight balancing on the whole entire robot. Even after combining, it stands on its own really well. So definitely a kudos on that one for Post Plus. Alright, let's split them all out, and it's time to combine into GaoGaiGar. So first, turn the entire bottom leg all the way to here. Turn these feet to the front. And then close them. And then release the side guards. That, and then on the top right here, open the entire thing, and not just the top part right here, but the entire bottom as well, as you can see. Same goes for here. Release the entire bottom. These ones are the lock that holds the arms in place, so now that they're unlocked, we can move the arms to the back. And then also pop the head. Pop the head open like this, so that it leaves the area for the liner gao. Yeah, so the drill gao, we removed the feet already, so press inwards on these two wheels as they are the lock for this part. Pop it out, and this part comes down like this. And then from the back, push this part outwards so that the drill can come down like this. And we do that for both the feet. So there's one thing that the manual instruction stresses about on the feet is that for this ball joint, make sure that this part right here is pushed all the way to the front so that these two parts are slightly touching each other, only slightly. And then we put it into the drill gao. Now you can see that there's this pin right here. Technically, you should be following the instruction into sliding it underneath this part right here, which is actually quite hard to do right now. So I think it is easier if the more you bend it, the easier it is. So it goes underneath like this right here, this gap, and then you push it up like this so that it locks in place. And then push it in all the way like that. Technically, if you do it right, the feet goes all the way inside. And you can check at the bottom. And then we can close this. Okay, like this. Now be sure to adjust the feet to push this in all the way. There are these holes right here. There's actually these pins on the drill gao that actually fits into it like this. So if you don't adjust it, these pins will be going either higher up here or lower onto this place, and it cannot lock onto the feet. So make sure that you adjust the feet so that the pins of the drill gao can go into the GaoGaiGar and lock it in. Hope you understand what I mean by that. Now that we know how this is done, this should be easier on this feet. Like that. Once this is in, adjust the feet, push it in, adjust the height, and then close this in and make sure that it locks in place. Now if you do it correctly, it should lock it in very easily like that. And this should be flat and not popping out. Okay. Putting back the feet. Okay, for the liner gao, first pull it from the center so that there's the gap. Pull from the bottom. And basically just yank out the side piece like that. And then rotate them forward. Like so. And then for this top piece, tilt this a little bit higher and push it up to the front. And then once it is done, you see these two pins on the side. Push it back into the top piece to lock it in place. Like that. And then at the bottom, open these. Flip the arms out. And then turn it forward. Oh wait. Should be this side. the way how you can tell is that this part right here, it should go front because the arms would bend forward for the Hell in Heaven. So if it's the other way around, then that's not correct. Same goes for this side. Pull these open. Yank them outwards. Rotate. Flip these to the front. Lock it back in place. Pin these. Pull this out. Turn to the front. And then for the train head, this one pulls out and then this one pops out, revealing the exhaust right here. All these. Now this is an original gimmicks. I think it's actually pretty cool that they do it. And you can see it again right here. By pushing this down, the entire thing pops up. So you will want to pull this a little bit higher so that it actually matches the height with this piece, so that it doesn't look too awkward. When that's done, basically replace it in. Once this is in, push these two down to lock it in place, and then put GaoGaiGar's head back down. Okay, last but not least is the Stealth Gao. Now the Stealth Gao, first remove the two engines, and then hide these connectors. And then for these, we rotate them downwards. And this panel right here can be removed completely. And this internal helmet hiding design, it's very similar to the Bandai's one. So hold the helmet all the way up, and then we can put it onto the GaoGaiGar. But first, for the two engines, we must first split it open. Open it like this. And then the connector joint right here, rotate it inside so that it's hidden. And then you can rotate the hands outwards. And then close it. Very awesome design. I like how they hide the connector joints right here by rotating it inwards. Didn't realize that when I was putting it together originally until I couldn't put it onto the Stealth Gao because there was no connector, and took me quite a while to figure it out. So that's that. Same goes for the other side. You see this connector right here? See, hides perfectly inside. Rotate and close. Okay. Basically just push it forward and hope it locks in place. This side's done. Now that went in, so push these to the front without hitting any of the other parts. Slowly adjust it as you go. And then there's the pin that locks into the galleon's head onto the side. So after trying it off camera, I think it's actually easier to pull out the galleon's head a little bit to the front and then push these two in. It will be actually easier that way, so give it a try if you can connect those two. And then finally are the arms. Slide it in. Like that. And as for the helm, first push the GaoGaiGar's top headpiece right here inwards, and then put GaoGaiGar's head onto it. The instruction makes it very easy, just put it on top, but it doesn't seem like that's the case. Okay, I think I got it. There's a pin at the back of the helmet where you have to connect it to the GaoGaiGar first. Push it in before you can slide the front of the helmet downwards like that to lock it in place. Definitely not easy to tell by the instruction. So do it from the back, connect it, and then close the helmet onto it. Then it will work. So here it is, the GaoGaiGar. Now this is absolutely freaking amazing. I really like the look on it. The proportion is absolutely beautiful. You don't have anything that's too weird, although I must say that the shoulder is a little bit overdone a bit, but that's something I actually anticipated because when they first teased it, that's what's something that they bragged about into making the shoulder a lot bigger. So that's something I know about, although I personally don't really like that, but anyhow, it doesn't look too bad in real life, so definitely look really amazing. And another thing I really like is that on the drill guile on the back, those two thruster-like items, those are actually really cool design. And it doesn't make it so that it's so empty on the back of the leg. Now it looks pretty cool. So definitely really good on that. And I just don't know how to tell you guys, but it's just really amazing. I'm really happy that I pre-ordered it and got it. So as a GaoGaiGar fan, this is definitely a piece that I'm really enjoying so far. Alright, let's check out the movement and then we'll go into the gimmicks and then also the armaments and weapons on to the GaoGaiGar. So as for the movement, we're gonna start off with the head as usual. Now remember the GaoGaiGar, originally it can actually turn 360. However, after you put on the GaoGaiGar head, the head actually barely turns. Now you can turn it slightly around here and to the side, but that's almost about it because of the back of the two fins right here, it's actually blocking it. So not too much of a movement right here. Now you can also tilt it downwards, which is great. Upward, not too much as well. So it really limits the movement after you combine it. So that's a little shame on that part. And next we have is the arm. Now the shoulder part right here, as bulky as it seems, it can actually turn and you can hear it. It's actually a ratchet-like joint, which is really good. Just be careful of this right here, that it's going to scratch the arm. Now technically you can go all the way 360, but again the Stealth Gao's wings is blocking it, so cannot go there. And other than moving it circularly, you can actually tilt the shoulder piece a little bit forward for the Hell in Heaven move. So, but again, be careful on this part right here, it's actually going to crash into it. And then obviously the arm, you can go horizontally about right here. And then for the elbow, you can go about here. There's actually two rotation joints. One's with the liner Gao, and then the other one, it's the stealth Gao itself. So, great movement there. So one's right here, and then another one for the liner Gao right there on the middle part. Now aside from the elbow, the upper arm right here, this one can turn circularly. And it can go 360, just like you see. Now as for the legs, it goes about here. And then for the front, since that the side guards is actually out on the side right now, so unlike when it is in the GaoGaiGar form, this one can move actually quite a bit to the front, like that. And then as for the knees, can actually bend pretty far back. But this is as far as it can go because this part it's actually blocking it. Without this piece, probably it can go even further, but again, this is all it can go. And then lastly is the feet. Now the feet can actually rotate horizontally like this. And then the toe section can actually bend down all the way and then back up. Now going back to the fist a little bit, not that because I missed it, because there's actually a lot more to talk about on the fist than the rest of the body. Now the fist that it came with, you can actually store inside the engine of the Stealth Gao as I shown before, and you can rotate it like this. But that's actually not all there is to it. You can actually replace the hands with either the combined Hell and Heaven fist right here, or their individual movable fist, which is a lot bigger. Should be this one for this side. So let's put this on. Simply just pull it out and push in the new fist. Now you can see that the fist is actually a lot bigger than it is before. The good thing about this fist is that it is actually each finger, you can actually move them individually and they can articulate pretty well. Basically you can form any kind of hands gesture that you want. So it's definitely great on this one. Which again, as I've always mentioned, this is the gimmick that I love the most. It gives the flexibility to do all kinds of posing on the hands as well. Now the only downside to it for this hand is that it actually cannot store within the engine of the Stealth Gao. That's the only downside to it because it's just a lot bigger. But for those of you like myself who's most likely going to display the GaoGaiGar as it is instead of separate them individually, then there's really not too much demerit to use this hand instead of the other one. But again, this is up to your preference. Now in terms of gimmicks, there's actually not a lot on the body of the GaoGaiGar. And some of the ones we've already gone through, like the ones on the hands, the articulation for each fingers, and also the drills here on the drill Gao. You can turn these drills and rotate them however you like. But what I didn't show you guys is that on the back, that's where things get very interesting. Now the Stealth Gao, when I first show you, it's actually very detailed, and this is even more spectacular when you see it. Now here for these little panels, you can actually flip them out so that you can actually display them for the thruster for the Hell in Heaven. And then second of all, the wings right here, you can extend it right here in this section, and also this tiny piece right here near the red side. So like that. And in here you can actually see the details within it. The gold and green right there. So it's very nicely done and it's very detailed even inside of it. So definitely really great here. And if you do it for the other side as well, it just makes the wings so much cooler. Now that's not all there is to it. You can actually rotate the wings a little bit. All the way to here. But again, just for your information, I forgot to pull the wings out before turning, so that might damage it. So for you guys, be sure to pull it out first before you turn. Okay, that's it with the GaoGaiGar. Let's check out the armaments for this set. Now aside from the wield knife that the Gaiga can hold, here are the armaments that the GaoGaiGar itself can use. As you can see, there's actually really not much. And basically, the top one is the dividing driver, which looks amazing. And at the bottom, you can see that there's these transparent green hands. That's for the protective shade. And next to that is this plastic film that goes on top of it. And then you can connect it through a connector joint, which I'm show you later. But other than that, that's all there is to it. Alright, let's put them on the GaoGaiGar and check them out. Okay, in order to put it on, first we must remove the hand. That goes without saying. And then we connect it to here. Now you can see that the hands connected to the center, and then on these four sides are these metal piece that goes on here. So you have to put it in all 5 of them at the same time. Like that. And then for this plastic film, just align it to the holes. And then we have 4 of these plastic pins that goes right to it. Okay, just a word of advice. Put these 4 pins through the film first before you put it onto it. It will make life easier. Once that's done, again align to the 4 holes. And push it in. Now it doesn't go all the way in, so don't worry if you think that you only push it in just a little bit. That's normal. It's supposed to leave a gap between the hands and also to the plastic film, just like you see here. Now moving on, next is the dividing driver. Now the dividing driver, it absolutely looks really sick. It's completely redesigned and it looks nothing like how I imagined before. You can see that there's these 2 things that's sticking out, which I don't recall on the original design has that. And then this ring right here, this can move. So as you can see, this ring right here, it can actually rotate, although it's a little bit wiggly. And this thing is actually newly added onto the dividing driver by Post Plus. And then even for the tip of it, they added some transparent green piece right here that makes it look extra awesome. Now there's one hidden gimmicks here that is not shown. It's that just like in the anime, if you pull it out, it actually divides the tip and also the main holes separately. Now I'm not sure if this is some kind of message to us telling us that there might be coming out with a Gatling driver tip that we can put on to here so that we can have the star GaoGaiGar. If that's the case, that would be awesome, because if you remember, I did one of the video where they showed a hidden shadow which looks like the star GaoGaiGar. So if that's the case, they probably would include a tip for the Gatling driver. So that would be really awesome. Alright, let's put this on the GaoGaiGar. Now in order to put it on, you must need this piece to replace the hands, and then plug this in, and you can see there's the 4 pins right here, and basically just push it in. Now careful, the shoulder part right here, it actually hits it, so just be careful when you put it on. Just like that. In conclusion, what do I think about this piece? Now this piece, I don't think I have to say much. You guys probably can guess what I think about this. Is that this is really astonishing. No matter if we're talking about the design of it, the quality of it, the paint job, and even the movement and some of the smaller gimmicks, everything about it all together itself, this piece is absolutely fantastic. And I really cannot ask for more, honestly. Now, although the one downside to it is that the price is actually quite expensive, that's something that we've learned when the pre-order started. However, after reviewing the whole entire thing, I must say that it actually pretty understandable where they're coming from, because there's just so much that is put onto this piece to make it looks absolutely perfect. In this piece, everything itself, it's really detailed. You can definitely feel the designer, the creators, and everyone who worked on this piece, the love for the GaoGaiGar, it's put all into it. You can definitely feel that from playing around with this piece. And another thing I really like about this piece is that although you don't see it, but in the manual instruction, they clearly state where each individual part that you have to be careful on. And not only that, they actually have a QR code that actually directs you to their homepage, which they have a video clip to tell you how to transform the entire thing and which point to look out for. And it's in high quality, so in case you're transforming in midway and found that there's some parts that you're not understandable, usually for people like me, I'll go online and try to see what I did and then do it myself. However, Post Plus actually realized that and they made the video on their own so that you guys can actually reference that without going to different YouTubers and look at how they do it. So definitely really good of them to be able to put that video clips, because there's some things that even with tons of word in it, there's sometimes that you don't exactly understand what they're trying to do, and a video clip really clarifies that greatly. So definitely really good on that. So with that, there's no doubt I'll give this piece a 5 out of 5. This Post Plus GaoGaiGar, it's by far the best GaoGaiGar diecast that there is, and there's no argument on that. So my message to Post Plus is that continue with your great work. Really love this piece, and for those of you who's deciding whether or not to get this piece, go ahead and get it. Now, although the price is somewhat insane, if you are able to find this piece in new condition and it's under the retail price, I would suggest you go ahead and get it. This piece is actually that great, honestly. You don't hear me often saying that. Now, if you really are in tight of money and you said you're going to skip this piece, even though you like the GaoGaiGar series, that's perfectly fine. However, I would suggest you to save up money starting from now, because in case, which I think most likely they will, when Post Plus release the Genesis GaoGaiGar, it will be totally epic. So definitely be on lookout on that and start saving up money in case they actually do release that. You would have enough money to get that. So that's my suggestion. Alright, that's it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it and find it useful. Be sure to hit that like button and also subscribe to my channel for more videos. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.